Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Joshua, and I'm going to be your presenter today. Well, I say good afternoon to folks here in the Eastern Time Zone with us. If you're calling us from Central Time Zones or further west, good morning to you. We're here to talk about tracking credit card purchases in church windows, accounting today. Before we get started on our topic, we're here till 12:50 Eastern Time, 20 minutes or so. If you ever at any point have seen what you came to see during the webinar event, by all means, please choose the file option on your webinar control panel, exit, leave webinar. Thank you very much for attending today. We hope you're going to find this information helpful and useful. If you have questions, please type those into the questions portion of the webinar control panel. I'll do my best to keep an eye on those and see what I can't do to get those answered either during the event if they're applicable or suitable. If nothing else, I'll stick around at the end and see what I can't do to get those questions answered for you. Click the little red arrow on the sidebar of your webinar control panel. Allows you to get the full visual effect of the presentation or drag it off to your second desktop if you've got a dual monitor setup. We are recording today's event, albeit we do have previous recordings of tracking the credit card purchases in church windows in previous versions out there on the website. We'll just replace that with this one today when it's finished. You're certainly welcome to review that later. Now, there was a document that we had included on the website that somehow didn't get added to the webinar event on the handouts page, folks. So let me show you where I found that. If we go into supporting, support center, and we go in here and we type in under the keyword search credit card or credit card, credit card, and click search, it'll come up with credit card credit card purchases right here. Right here's our PDF document right here, tracking credit card purchases in church windows. So FYI, we didn't get it attached to the handout. I apologize for that, for the handout, but it's there and it'll be on the web page when we've got the video back out on the website here later today. So let's dive into accounting and talk about tracking credit card purchases. So we're going to talk about, with time warranting, we're going to talk about as much of this as we can. Hopefully we can get through all of it. But, there it is. Rachel looks like she got it assigned as a handout. Perfect. Thank you. Typically, the most common way that credit card purchases are tracked is we set up a vendor called whatever your credit card company is. In this case, in our chart of accounts, I think it's Visa Chase Bank. So when we choose that on our chart of accounts, right here we've got Visa-Chase Bank. Over here, vendor payee, Visa Chase Bank. I could certainly take that off and just make that Chase Bank or make it Chase Bank Visa or whatever I want on my checks or my payments as that occurs. But the credit card purchases are always determined by how we want to affect cash. So typically the easiest way to do this and simplest way is to set up a particular vendor that is for our credit card company that mirrors and parallels exactly the activity that we want to have to reflect those payments to the credit card company. Then we treat it exactly like we would any other bill and payment. We simply go into enter bills. Here now, let's say we've got our statement for, say, February, and what we're going to do here is, now you do have some flexibility around this, folks, okay? So whether you choose to enter it, say, in one bill in the month of February, so if I say, okay, I'm going to backdate this, I'm going to date this, say, February 26th, and I can find in here Chase Visa or Visa, typing in my vendor. Then I can come down here and I can choose my various expense accounts if I want. So if I've got office expense, and then over here I can enter the amount that I want for for the particular expenses that I'm spending on here. And then over here on the right I can enter comments. I can say printer paper per what the document shows on that. And then I can click the plus sign to the right and I can continue to add additional expenses to this particular bill. So let's say I've got my nursery expense and I'm going to make that one $67.89, and we're going to call this, say this was nursery supplies. Not going to be too terribly specific on that. And I can continue to add expenses to this particular single bill that I'm wanting to make payable to Visa Chase Bank or Chase Bank Visa, okay? But it is all going to be one giant bill, okay, where I've got it divided or separated over the different expense accounts, okay? Or that's one way of being able to handle credit card purchases. The other way would be to go ahead and if we just add these to the batch, and let's say I want to record each one of the dates that those particular expenses were purchased to match up with what they show on my statement. I can also record them as separate bills. So let's say I've got something that I bought on my Visa card on February 2nd. I can come in here and I can type in Visa, Chase Bank, and then I can come down here and I can choose senior citizens. And we're going to say that I made a purchase on behalf of the senior citizen group here on February 2nd. And I can call it, game night expenses. And I can click Done, Add to Batch. And then I can go back up here and I can choose the next date that appears on my statement. So let's say that was on Friday the 5th of February. Again, I can choose Visa, Chase Bank. And again, I can continue to enter these as separate bills that I'm posting with the separate dates. Now, they will appear on my transactions as absolutely separate transaction numbers. So let's say we're going to say we bought some church and some music for the church on our Visa account on our Visa card on that Friday. And so we're going to make that one, let's make that one $234.56. So then I can say, new music. Here we go. Come on, Josh. We can do this. You can do this. It's not your first day typing. Okay, new music. And I can click Done, Add to Batch. So we see here down the left-hand side that right here that each one of these are separate bills, but they're all payable to Chase Bank Visa with the different dates. Okay, so it simply gives us a different level of control depending on how you want to see those, okay? Some folks want to know what they purchased on which particular days and they paid it to Chase Bank. Others go, I just want to be able to record the separate expenses. If I post them all on the same date, that's all I care about. And I want to enter in my comments for, for what was purchased on those particular cards. So let's add one more here. So let's put this back into February Let's make this one on February 10th. We're going to add this one more time to Visa Chase Bank. And let's choose a couple more expense accounts here. So let's go down to coffee shop expenses. And a little more than I put in there, anticipated putting in there, folks. Sorry about that. And we're going to do coffee. And Done, Add to Batch. So we've now entered 4 different bills, okay? So I'm now done with my, I guess the advantage, before I post these payments and then we post the payment on here. The advantage of posting it all in one bill is essentially if I go back down to the one that was on February 5th, we notice here that we've got a grand total in the middle. So that's sort of one of the advantages right here. And what I'm talking about, folks, is right here, this total right down here. Okay, so maybe that's not a good one. Let me go back to the original one that I had originally posted. Let's add that one to the batch, and we'll go back down to the one for February 26th. So see right here, I've got 2 different bills that total into the grand total of $102.45. So that's the one advantage of doing them as one single bill, is that it does allow us to make sure that the amount that we're putting into our credit card vendor account is the amount that we actually want to record as our bill, okay? I don't have a grand total that sets up down here at the bottom when I add them to my batch. See, I don't have a total down here at the bottom. That would, because if I had other vendors that I was entering bills for in this same batch, it would just show me a grand total for all of those bills, for all of them, not just each one of them separately. So again, it's a matter, it's your personal preference in terms of how you want to record them and how you want to see them on the reports, okay? It's still going to show correctly on my treasurer's report in February, posting to each one of these separate expense accounts with their respective amounts. But do I want to see the separate transactions based on the dates, maybe for reconciliation purposes, if I want to reconcile my books in Church Windows Accounting with my actual bank statement itself? It's your choice, okay, because they're all going into Chase Bank Visa. So now if we're ready to post this, and I do post and pay these bills because I'm ready to turn around and post my payment, okay, so do I want to print the list of my bills? We're going to say no for expediency purposes on that. So now what it does is it opens up my pay bills with my Chase Bank Visa pre-selected, with all of those bills pre-selected and totaled together. So it shows my amount to pay here, right here, folks, and I want to point this out because a lot of folks overlook this. Right here, amount to pay shows the collective total of all of my bills, $525.24. So it bundles them. It assumes that I want them as one single payment, unless I make some different choices here. Okay, so I have a couple different options. So let's say I'm only ready to pay part of this. I can either come down here and I can uncheck the particular vendors, the bills that I don't want to pay, and it will auto adjust the amount to pay. I want to print one check, okay? Or I'm going to pay it online. Either way. So I'm going to leave it, the Pay Now boxes checked for all of those vendors, or for all of those invoices and bills. And again, in confirming that the amount to pay is the amount that I'm wanting to pay. I would then choose the appropriate payment method that I'm going to pay Chase Bank Visa with, whether it's EFT or computer check, electronically. And I'm a big fan, folks, of using the show running balance right up here. Notice that it's now showing that my Huntington Bank checking account now here. Let me pull that down and get that out of the way, get that a little more clarity there. So 525.24 is coming out of my Huntington Bank checking account. My Chase Bank Visa starts with a 525.24 balance. It takes out 525.24. The adjusted balance is 0. But if, say, for example, I did uncheck one of those, okay, notice that when I uncheck the 123.45, that I'm basically saying I don't want to pay that particular bill or invoice today. It's adjusting my amount to pay. It is leaving the invoice outstanding, the bill outstanding, and leaving the remaining balance of $123.45 in my Chase Bank Visa to pay at a later date if I wish. But we're not going to do that. We're going to pay that today. So we're going to go ahead and check Pay Now. And then from there, we're either going to do post, or if you're choosing computer check, you would do post and print checks if you're ready to print that check or print those checks. Okay, so let's do that. Well, we got a couple minutes here on this. So let's say I did want to click create separate payments. So let's say I wanted to create separate payments for right here for the $234.56. So if I check that box, notice it's still putting amount to pay as $525.24 because that's the total amount of my payments to Chase Bank Visa. What I'm saying, though, on these other ones, though, is I want to have one check printed for $234.56 and the other one for the remaining total. So we're going to remaining combined total. So we're going to do post and print checks. We're going to test this. So we're going to say no to the printing of our payments, and we should see. It's taking a minute here. Sorry, folks. It takes a little bit of time. But sure enough, we see here we've got one check waiting in the print queue for Chase Bank for $290.68, the 3 of those bills, and then the one separate payment to Chase Bank for the $234.56. Okay? So it does work when you use that separate payment and are printing computer-prepared checks. Okay? So again, there are other options for recording credit card payments, folks. If you need further assistance or need help with that, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call us on support, 800-533-5227. But this is the easiest and simplest and most common way that credit card transactions are posted and recorded in Church Windows Accounting. So we're going to leave it at that today. Okay, that's where we're going to leave our topic on that today.